A Look at Seniors is underwritten by the generous support of Hudson Headwaters Health Network, dedicated to provide the best health care and access to that care for everyone in our communities. Serving all of Warren County and parts of Clinton, Essex, Hamilton, Saratoga, and Washington counties. A Look at Seniors is underwritten by the generous support of Retirement Solutions. Our knowledgeable and experienced team will help you explore retirement options for a smooth financial transition toward a secure, comfortable, and worry-free quality of life. Retirement Solutions, providing you with a greater peace of mind when it's needed the most. A Look at Seniors is underwritten by the generous support of the Wesley Community. For nearly 45 years, the Wesley Community has provided services and programs with a commitment to compassion, caring, and excellence. The Wesley Community, a senior living community that feels like home.
Welcome back, everyone. Yes, we're back at Saratoga Senior Center for another installment of A Look at Seniors. And joining me today is the Executive Director of the Saratoga Senior Center, Lois Celeste. Welcome back, Lois.
Hi, Jess. Thank you.
My cohort in crime, as we could say in this series, right?
Several years of this.
Yeah, I know. I do this 4 years running now.
I think so.
Right? Okay. And we're joined today by a very special guest who works for an organization that we're really excited to tell you about. And this is Joanna Sheridan. Welcome, Joanna.
Thank you.
Very nice to have you here.
I'm thrilled to be here.
Oh, good, good. I'm glad. We got a lot to talk about.
Yes.
The organization is RSVP, and we don't mean that you need to answer an invitation to go to a wedding. We're talking about an organization that actually stands for Retired Senior Volunteer Program. This is a program that you've been involved with for a number of years, right?
Absolutely. The RSVP program exists throughout our state that I'm aware of. I don't know if it's other states as well, but and each county has an RSVP program, and they're valuable. I mean, it's so much comes out of volunteerism and seniors and helping seniors. So it's a wonderful program.
Well, you know what? The theme, as you know by now, really that Lois and I are circling with this, with a look at seniors, is caregivers, right? And also the ability to age in place. Well, when you think about the services that RSVP provides, that certainly goes a long way, doesn't it?
Sure, and you know, as this demographic grows, as we've talked about, you know, the needs are great, and using volunteers to fill those needs to help seniors be able to age in place or get caregiver support or whatever they need. You know, harnessing volunteers is amazing, and the programs that your agency runs are incredibly valuable.
Well, let's jump into it.
Okay.
I've got the brochure right here, and I promise we won't make you go through every single one of them. But you know, when you think about caregivers, when you think about aging in place, which, you know, I'm moving into that generation, and you really think
I'm in it.
You want to stay, you know, where you are.
You might be in it,
You're not
Jeff.
supposed to comment on that. Talk to me about some of the services, because I know transportation is important.
Right. The medical transportation program is probably the one that we spend the most time on and probably helps the most people throughout the day, the week, the month. We have close to 150 clients throughout Warren and Washington County that we provide medical transportation for. They're taken by volunteers who use their own vehicles, and we schedule them as we get a request for a ride. We contact drivers and say, can you take that person that day? I know many of the drivers, and I know they get as much out of it. They really enjoy that social interaction and the helping of those people, and they get to know some of them very, very well.
So I would imagine that would include a visit to a doctor.
Correct.
Or a hospital, right? Physical therapy.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
A pharmacy.
Are you doing dialysis as well, or limited?
We do some. Usually it's a one-way because it's a 4-hour stretch, and we don't do that. We used to have a few but we do very few of those.
Gotcha. So I have just a personal story, just a quick aside. As someone that I was responsible for transporting different places, and I couldn't tell whether he was actually asking me to take him someplace or if he just wanted to go for a ride in my Porsche. So I think because every time he got in my car, he put his baseball cap on backwards and smiled, and I thought, well, I don't know where we're going, but I have a feeling he likes going for the ride in the car. You know, that kind of brings up another thing, and I know you see it here all the time, that just providing the services themselves, it is much more, or can be much more, than just what the specific need is. it could be a little bit more in the social realm, right? And
It's what,
You
it's
know where I'm
what
going.
the senior center is all about, is social activities.
Right.
You know, keeping people socially connected is critical, and lowers depression, helps them, you know, that helps with aging and all of that. So I think, you know, these programs are critical to that as well. It's just touching a senior. It's, you know, it's having contact with these people, and having regular contact is critical as well.
oh, I know.
And again, and I'll let you get into it a little bit more about the value of volunteering and how good you feel. We have, you know, here at the Senior Center, we have so many volunteers, and some of them through the RSVP program. They run our osteo programs, and I know you have some of those
Yes.
as well. And, but just volunteerism, it just feel good.
I know, because you mentioned Warren and Washington County, and I'm sure it's the same in Saratoga County, but there's a real need for people who want to stay in place to have meal deliveries,
Correct,
right?
yes.
And I know you're involved in that.
Yes, we work with the Warren County Office for the Aging that does the home-delivered meals in Warren County, and we provide volunteers for that. In fact, in the last few days, I've actually found 4 volunteers, 2 couples that wanted to help with that program. And one of them, I was thanking him for something else, and he said, well, this is what we do, we volunteer. And there's some people that just feel they've retired, and that's their role now, is to volunteer and help other people when they can.
Well, I certainly understand that. Now, the meals that are delivered, that could be any meal? Could that be breakfast, lunch?
No, they
or-
do,
Okay.
they either do just one meal midday, or some of them get 2 meals. So they'll drop off 2 meals for them so they can reheat or eat it for dinner.
Right, right. Actually, I know somebody who does that.
Right.
The again, thinking about the socialization aspect of living in place, right? You know, this
Yeah,
is something
getting food.
people look forward to it every day.
Oh, yeah.
Just think
And they
about that.
rely on, I mean, the medical transports are critical.
Yeah,
You know,
God,
and just, again, you know, to your poor story or whatever it is, it's their trip out for the day, and it's outstanding, it's great.
Yes.
Again, the osteo programs, I know you run a few programs.
Oh, talk about some of the
Yes,
programs.
the Astra Program we have over 350 participants in 18 sites, 19 different programs. And one of the things that the volunteer who helps with that program for me is that, well, for some of them, it's just a socialization time. They're really supposed to be exercising. So trying to get, yes, it's important for them to get out and have that socialization, but on the other hand, they need to be focusing on the exercises. So that's sort of a whatever. But indeed, no matter what it is, and even if it's somebody who's out and about, that's a group that they're a part of, and they feel very close to that group, and they get a lot out of just that connection as part of a group. So
Sure, I'm back. You know, before we went on air, Joanna was saying to Lois and myself that it was tax time, and that you were very involved with
Yes.
helping people with their tax returns. I mean, you know, we don't tend to think about these things top of mind, but the second you mention it, right, Lois, it's like, oh my God, yeah.
We have AARP actually comes in and does taxes here. So it's all volunteers, and they come in every Tuesday and do free taxes for seniors, and we do probably 40 a day throughout the tax season. It's great. Again, all volunteerism.
Right.
You know, the osteo class is funny. It sits right outside my office. And so, you know, I don't even hear it. I hear 1, 2, 3. You know, they're doing their weights and their little small, and it's great. But it is a social group as well, very much. So.
See, I got a
All run by
feeling
volunteers.
that program also means something to the guys who are out there playing pool all day long, too. There are certain ways we exercise, you know what I'm saying?
indeed.
Tell me a little bit more about it.
Well, talking about the group and the socialization, we have a couple of different partners who have a group coming in on a regular basis to do mailings. And there's one group that they go on a regular basis, and they have a very, very strong social connection.
Yeah, I bet.
And they really take care of each other, and that's important for them. So, and they're doing mailings, which is not, you know, terribly challenging, but for them it is a huge time for them to get together. So between, you know, medical transportation, osteobusters, the mailings, we find volunteers for the literacy program, for medical alert for the Glens Falls Hospital, and we do some friendly caller, friendly visitor programs. All of those are helping individuals, and the tax program, which ours is VITA, Volunteer Income Tax Assistance, which is a sister program to what AARP does. And the site that I run, which is independent of the RSVP program, is we have a very large percentage of seniors that come in to that. And it's rewarding to see them, and our volunteers just love it. They love interacting with those people.
I think, bottom line, Jess, whatever county you're in, there's many needs out there with the
Right.
seniors.
Right.
And whether it's your program, whether it's a senior center here, Warren, Washington, wherever you are, these resources exist. And all of us are trying to do the same thing, is to help seniors age in place, to help caregiver support, to help volunteerism. The volunteers get as much out of this as the seniors do. And like the
Absolutely.
couple you're talking about, they get more. When you're retired, a lot of people still want to give back and be active.
They do.
So, volunteers though are, I don't know about you, but for us, huge demand and need for volunteers. And people out there can help. Just call. Just call.
Yes.
Well, you know what? I'd like to just wrap this up by saying, some of the things we have been talking about in this series, and I think we'll continue to talk about, is that when you do talk about caregiving and you do talk about aging in place, that you need the community. You need the support on both ends. You may need the help, individual help or whatever, but you may want to volunteer to help others. And that's really what community is all about. And that's what really enables people to age in place and people to know that they've got care and that they have support. That's critical. You've seen a phone number on the screen throughout this interview. You want to volunteer, they need volunteers. And call them. And they'll give you a whole list, I'm sure, of things that they need. And they're just a wonderful organization. And if you're just thinking to yourself, gosh, I didn't know about this organization at all, again, it's another example of the way that the community says, you need help, we're here. And I think that's critical, especially for the stuff that we've been circling throughout this whole series. Okay, that's it. Thank you, Lois. Thank you, Joanna.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's very nice to talk to you about
Thank
this.
you.
And to see this, again, of course, you can go to our website, looktvonline.com.
A Look at Seniors is underwritten by the generous support of Hudson Headwaters Health Network, dedicated to provide the best health care and access to that care for everyone in our communities. Serving all of Warren County and parts of Clinton, Essex, Hamilton, Saratoga, and Washington counties. A Look at Seniors is underwritten by the generous support of Retirement Solutions. Our knowledgeable and experienced team will help you explore retirement options for a smooth financial transition toward a secure, comfortable, and worry-free quality of life. Retirement Solutions, providing you with a greater peace of mind when it's needed the most. A Look at Seniors is underwritten by the generous support of the Wesley Community. For nearly 45 years, the Wesley Community has provided services and programs with a commitment to compassion, caring, and excellence. The Wesley Community, a senior living community that feels like home.